Welcome to Season 6 of the Long-Winded One podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, LitRPG, the only show where spoilers don't spoil anything. We're digging into fan theories, side characters, and the lore office. Left in the drawer.
All right. David, did you leave anything in the drawer?
Probably. Good look. I'm sure there's something.
Well, welcome everybody to Season 6, Episode 10 of what I'm calling Spoiler Sessions this season. And they're, they're little baby spoilers. They're nothing major. We're not going to ruin your time enjoying these authors' great pieces of work. But tonight I'm joined by somebody I met at LitRPG Con last year, David North. And David, this time when we talk, I don't hear any background noise. This is glorious.
Yeah, right. It was loud in that room.
It was very loud in the room. And I actually have a clip to play of like one of your big fans. Yeah. Drew was his name. So I have a clip. Yeah. It was like the best interview just because of that guy. Yeah. So tonight we have a few things that we're going to talk about from your series. We're talking about 3 series: Guardian of Aster Fall, which is a 9-book series; Wild Era, which is a 3-book series, I believe; and River of Fate, which is also a 3-book series. Correct. Mm-hmm. And you have some really cool hardcovers to show us from the Kickstarter. So we'll get there eventually. But yeah, so David, we are 23 weeks away from LitRPG Con.
You're counting down. Yeah.
I count down every week. It's very easy to do because I do 1 interview a week. And the goal here is to get people excited for LitRPG Con and to really, for me, to get to know more people in the community. So when I get there, we can have some really excellent conversations. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. So we have a few things to talk about here, but what I like to do before this, now we're not going to rehash anything that people have done on other podcasts. If people want what inspired you to become a writer? What authors did you read growing up? Are you a D&D player? There are other podcasts to listen to for that. We're very specifically, we're going to be talking about characters. We're going to be talking about things that people have mentioned to you that they're curious about. But I think what's helpful is for you to give just a very quick 10,000 foot view of your stories and your world. In this case, because all 3 series kind of take place in this shared universe. It's helpful to talk about, I think, or at least mention your main characters, right? Sam, et cetera. And just so that if we refer to them, right, they know what we're talking about. And then anything else you think might be helpful just from like a frame of reference point, like for you, maybe talking a little bit about Sovereigns and Astral Titans and all of that stuff. Yeah. Is it okay? Can I turn it over to you to give like a 10,000 foot view?
3 series. River of Fate is actually a separate universe. That was my first series, and it's a cultivation universe. So that one has chi and spiritual energy. There's 3 books. People keep asking me when book 4 and such is going to come out. And the answer is I'm working on it, but it's a back burner project because the LitRPG ones are much more popular overall. And even if I'm just balancing like what people want, they want the LitRPG ones more. So I feel bad every time someone asks, but I'm working on it, but I don't have a deadline for it yet. Then the other 2 series are in the same universe. So Guardian of Aster Fall, the first series is 9 books. That one's complete. The main character is Sam. I won't give out too many spoilers, but it's his rise to power from starting off with a boy in a village wearing rags, basically, ending up in a dungeon with his dad after the thing blows up on them, transcending to like godhood, basically, by the end. And Wild Era is a sequel in the same universe, different main character. The character this one, his name is Kellen. He's a reincarnated, he was an archmage of soul magic. And then he died. He got killed by an enemy who I won't reveal because it happens. He shows up in book 2. But between the 2 series, it's roughly 5,400 years, which to the big characters, they're all like they can live for 1,000,000 years or something. It's all not very long in the grand picture of things.
Well, but
So,
time works a little bit differently when you become that powerful, right?
yeah, it's like Sam's around still. He's in the background. And so is his family. We see Sam pop in. He says hello, kind of, in book 2 a bit, and you hear about him being mentioned because he's like the most powerful figure in the universe. Well, in that galaxy at least. There's a couple of big enemies who are at a similar level. So yeah, Kellen, 3 books. Book 4 comes out in May, and the audio for book 3 comes out here in March.
And this is for Wild Era, the series we're talking about. Yep. Okay. Well, do you feel like maybe we need to talk about the Sovereigns and the Astral Titans real quick, just for a frame of reference?
Yeah. Well, in Aster Fall, the Astral Titans are this race of primordial beings born from chaos at the beginning of time, effectively, and they built, I guess, like the architects of the galaxy. They built a lot of things. They created the system that people think about, how to use experience levels, classes, all that jazz. And Guardian of Aster Fall is heavily involved with them, which I probably shouldn't spoil it, because it's not until like book 3 to 4 that some of that starts to kick in and you realize what's going on. And book 5, it really takes off. Someone asked me earlier on Patreon, like, they didn't like that Sam was 18 at the beginning. They're like, what should I read where he's more mature? Well, people were like, just start reading with book 5, which is when he travels off into the galaxy. And he gets a big perspective of time and who the Astral Titans are. So if that's your thing, start with book 5. The only warning is that it's going to have an explanation at the beginning. If you don't like explanations of who they are, skip it. Go to like chapter 3 or something. There you go.
What was their issue with an 18-year-old?
They don't like 18-year-olds. I'm like, all right, I get that. So book 5 if you want.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
So.
All right. Well, so we have right now we have 7 people in the chat, and I'm going to kind of loosely, just say hi to everybody. We have Frosty Pine King, hello, and Frank Moore is here. I'm imagining some of these folks will coming over from your Patreon. So speaking of fans, I have a little clip to play from LitRPG Con. This is from somebody named Drew, who had actually just like plowed through your series, one of your series. Yeah. And he was wandering by, and you were, as you do, you very generous with your books. You're giving away books, and we were having a hard time having a conversation, having an interview, because there were so many people around, and it's very, very loud, a lot of, not in a bad way, like a lot of good stuff going on. Just probably not a location you'd choose for an interview.
Had like the audio narrators doing books in the background, and everything.
Yeah. And so I have a clip here from somebody named Drew, and this is somebody who's fresh off of reading, I'm guessing, your collected series.
That was Guardian of Aster Fall. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is Drew.
Right. So if you like a book that is like true, beginning from nothing, going all the way to powerful, like we're not talking, oh cool, I'm now the like top guy in the world, or I'm the top guy in the society. Nah, screw that. We're going full-fledged freaking universe. You like world building? We're talking multiple species. We're talking you're going back millennia, you're going forward millennia, you're going multiple universes. You like different cultures? Dude, you travel through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different places. You like a little bit of political intrigue? Not a lot, just enough to get the spice going. Like, seriously, you should read this series. It's awesome. All right.
Just a little bit to get the spice going. I love it. Drew, if you're out there.
Drew.
Yeah, thank you for that, Drew. Okay, well, if you're okay with this, I want to invite in our special guest.
Yep.
And speaking of LitRPG Con, and then we're going to get right into the things that I promised we would talk about. So I'd like to welcome to the podcast, assuming his camera is working, Aaron. Are you there, Aaron?
I'm here.
Aaron.
and sometimes, Aaron, when we invite our special guests in, it's a surprise. But we actually kind of hung out a little bit before we went live, and
it was a surprise to me 10 minutes ago.
There you go. So Aaron is our special guest, and could could be an episode in and of itself. He's a prolific writer, does a lot of collabs, which we're going to talk about here. Speaking of spoilers. So Aaron, you've written lots of things. I'm going to mention a few of your series, if that's cool. Apocalypse Breaker, Father of Constructs, The Resonance Cycle, Spite the Dark. Am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing a lot, but anyone that you want to mention?
All those are great. I have a horror fantasy or horror sci-fi series that's female led that I'm going to probably reboot or extend. But those are the core. You've mentioned the core.
That's awesome, and I'm inviting you tonight because you have an excellent story about David from LitRPG Con. Plus, you wanted to hang out, and you're welcome anytime, my friend. But I want to hear this story, and I want everybody to hear this story from LitRPG Con.
Man, okay. So this is the best story about David. So if you haven't met David before, he's pretty dry. He's a pretty dry guy, right? You can't really tell what's going on behind the eyes. So I was kind of I've talked to him. I've known him for years now online. I was meeting him for the first time in person, and I just couldn't get a read on him, right? But we were talking anyway. So the late RPG Con, there was a fire in the hotel, right? And I woke up, I slept through the entire thing, and I woke up and David North had called me 18 times. He had left voice messages. He had texted everyone we knew, and he was like, I've got to take care of Aaron. And I was like, that was the moment for me when I realized that, like, you may not see what's going on the surface, but those duck legs are paddling and there's a big heart. And it was huge, guys. Like, oh my, like, opened my heart, and I was like, I'm a David North fan forever.
I was a David North fan before, but now you have opened my heart and my duck legs, David North.
Let's paddle along, I guess.
Yes.
Right.
So if people are listening and they don't know the story of the fire at LitRPG Con, no one was injured that I know of. And I think, when I got outside, I think I was, Aaron, you and I probably were I thought I was the last person outside because people were doing the same thing to me, texting me. And of course, I woke up and I was like, oh, I smell smoke. And so we ended up in the parking lot about a half a block away for, an hour or two. And then we all went back inside and slept mostly soundly with our windows open. Anything you guys want to add to this before we get into the spoiler sessions?
Yeah, there was apparently like a fire in their mattress storage room on like the 27th floor or something. And yeah, they flashed the siren once at like 1:10 a.m. or something. And like that was it. Like what's going on? Like one flash, like small little smoke, wake up, you look outside, you're like, what? Like start swearing, like, what is going on in this hotel? Start walking down the hill, the kids are crying. They're like, Mama, Daddy, is the hotel burning? Like the kid in the room's next down the hall from mine. It's like, this is ridiculous. So just wandered outside. Yeah.
But it was adventurous. And was it like 2? I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, probably. Cause I think we got back in at 3 in the morning but there were still people up hanging out in the lobby. So they just walked outside. We have people in the chat here. David, this is from IBW. David, the person you can count on saving you from a fire. And then IBW says again, yes, let us just let one ring go and shut it off before people wake up. The fire isn't that important. Yes.
That was pretty apparently what they thought. Yeah.
Yeah. This is no indication or I want everyone to know that LitRPG Con is safe. And we got that out of the way. It's not going to happen this year. All right, but I feel like we could just chat. We only have about 16 minutes left. So I'm going to get into these things that we're going to talk about here. So the first thing that David, you have brought up as something that people want to know about is what's up with Sam, your MC from Guardian of Aster Fall. What's up with Sam at the end of book 9, kind of between book 9 and the beginning of Wild Era, right?
Yeah.
What's going on with him?
So if you don't want spoilers, mute it, I guess, for a second. But Sam has become a sovereign of primal chaos, basically. He's immortal. He's a god level figure. He's standing at the top of his galaxy, and he looks down at it, and he sort of sees that this galaxy is not as strong as he wants it to be compared to the enemies of other galaxies. There's 2 more sovereigns out and about. One is the Sovereign of War, who is kind of the main enemy, well, beyond the main enemies of the first series, like the guy that's behind them all. And then there's the Sovereign of Undeath, which shows up in Wild Era as one of the main enemies. So he's like a god of undead, the undeath guy. So Sam is looking at them, and in the intervening 5,400 or so years between the series, he starts having a lot more fights with these 2 other sovereigns who have noticed him, and the galaxy is kind of shaking from their fights, and invasions start coming more frequently. So he has a plan to like make the galaxy stronger. He creates a system of like dungeons for training, pushes more training experience levels, things like that. But generally, he's just at the top level, looking down at things, keeping an eye on stuff, and trying to like slowly let it progress as he puts a lot of his own effort into fighting off those 2 guys while protecting everything else. So.
Well, our next question, and Aaron, you can chime in anytime here. I'm going to try to keep, I'm going to try to keep one eye on the chat just to make sure we're not missing anything. The next thing is about Astral Titans, and I just want to bring them. This is a great next thing to talk about too, because am I right in thinking that the Sovereigns kind of have to be careful about the hijinks they get up to? Is that an accurate thing to say, David, when it comes to these Astral Titans?
So the Astral Titans, like Sam is an Astral Titan. He becomes one through a sort of accident, because he's the world that he's on originally. Aster Fall was built by them, and there's a lot of stuff that's involved. But he ends up absorbing a fraction of primal chaos, and anyway, he becomes an Astral Titan and he rises to power. But most of the Astral Titans are not sovereigns. But at the very end of book 9, there's a little clip showing that some of them have reached the 7th evolution, which is sort of an immortal level. The sovereigns are special. They have to take a slightly different path. But the 7th evolution is also immortal. And so they're out traveling in the other galaxy, where the Sovereign of War is, poking around and having a fairly good time exploring everything. But yeah, they're powerful beings, just under the 3 sovereigns.
I got it. Okay. All right. Well, Aaron, if you have any questions here, I feel like I'm doing all the yakking. Feel free to jump in here. But I have a next question if we're good to go with that. Okay. So you mentioned some of the other sovereigns, and you talked about kind of what they were up to. Anything you want to add about that?
I mean, so there's War, there's Undeath, and then Sam is the sovereign of Silver Chaos, the name he took. So, I mean, he lives in a giant, like, sort of Titan Hall up in the stars. He's a guy you sort of like see him like walking through the stars and creating new stars and, doing sorts of huge things like that. Someone was joking the other day, it's like looking at Sam from like a telescope, you could probably see him like using a nebula as a bonfire or something, like cooking some primordial void beast over it. And he's huge, and he can change his height and size and such, but he's on that level of power. And then his family is up there with him. He's been taking care of them and making sure that they get stronger too, because family is a big theme throughout Aster Fall. So.
Yeah, and they also progress through these books, correct? Yeah. So we have a few. Let's see here. We have Frank Moore, who says 4th series with Astral Titans? ?
People want me to go have Sam meet the Astral Titans. So eventually, we'll probably see another book where Sam and the Astral Titans get together again. I don't know what it will look like yet. It could be another series, like a continuation of Aster Fall, where it's back to Sam's point of view. But one of the reasons Aster Fall eventually wrapped up is that Sam is very, very powerful. And it's very hard to write a story where someone is that powerful. Like, there's nothing really he can't do besides maybe getting rid of the other 2 sovereigns. Like,
yeah. It's like writing for Superman or Hulk, probably, right? Like, yeah. And so DTS Retro says, will we see the original Astral Titans return in Wild Era?
Probably not in Wild Era, unless like one decided to wander over and say hello. but the traveling between the galaxies is really difficult. They probably would have to borrow power from one of the sovereigns. What happened in the very beginning that connected two galaxies was that at Aster Fall, the world where Sam is from originally, the Titans created something called the Nexus, which is like a black hole, which connects like a wormhole to another galaxy. But with the time dilation issue that created for them, it takes about 5,000 years to go through the Nexus. And so unless Sam or one of the other sovereigns pops over directly or tries to carry someone with them, it's difficult to travel.
We have wow, this is IBW is back with another. I don't know if this is like a 2-part question. How do the other sovereigns compare to the Astral Titans? Would other Astral Titans be stronger in the event they became sovereigns because they have a stronger base race?
So all of the sovereigns share a certain level of power in order to become a sovereign, and being a primordial or equivalent like the Astral Titans is a requirement for that level of power. So,
well, boy, people are very active in the chat over here. Frank says, I think Kellen will be the 4th sovereign.
That's the idea. Like, he has his eyes set. Like, Sam talks to him about this and gives him a sort of this as a goal. He's like, work hard, try to become the sovereign of souls, like the Lord of Reincarnation. And because he's been reborn, and he's the only person that we know of at the moment who has had a past life that's come back. And Sam's like, go be this, like, make this your thing, kind of. So that's what Kellen is trying to do so far by the 2nd, 3rd books of Wild Era.
IBW says, interesting. I hadn't realized that there were other primordial races.
Well, he should know because he's always in my chat. But the giant space alligators, I'm joking, called the Vosraken from the Aster Fall are also a primordial race, and they're always trying to fight with the Titans. So the Astral Titans, when they built the galaxy, their primary enemy was this other primordial race called the Vosraken, and they kept trying to eat each other, basically. So, all
right. Well, you guys keep it up in chat. We're going to go on to another question here. Let's see here. What happened to the rest of Sam's allies over the past 5,000 years?
So they can go back to Aster Fall, the world, whenever they want, but time passes more slowly there because it's close to that black hole we were talking about. So 5,000 something years have passed in the regular galaxy, but only about 25 on the world of Aster Fall itself. 215 times slower, just a random number I came up with one day.
I was going to ask, are we following Newtonian laws here?
I wrote this in as a little side note sometime when he was in like book 5 or something, and it's just been the theme that we've used ever since, like to calculate the passage of time. So some of them are on Aster Fall. It hasn't been that long for them. The ones in the galaxy, a lot of them had traveled out there because Sam sort of opened up travel between that world and the galaxy. They've gone out. They've seen the worlds, traveled around, done some things. You know, Sam's keeping an eye on them. They're not dead. Put it that way. They're having a relatively good time.
New series, yeah. New series.
If I had all the time in the world, right?
If you could clone yourself, yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Boy, the chat is just hopping. I'm not sure I can keep up with that. Let's talk a little bit. We have about 7 minutes here. I want to talk. There's 2 things I definitely want to get to before I ask you all what you have kind of coming out. The first is a collaboration that I hear between David and Aaron. Could you tell us about that?
Him. Yeah,
Aaron, you should do that. Yeah,
I seduced him.
You seduced him. Well, first, give us some context, Aaron. Who you've worked with a ton of people.
Well, we were at a bar one night when. Go ahead, Aaron.
That's how all good stories start.
Yeah.
So, just a bit of my backstory. I joined an author community a couple of years ago, and I was mentored by people like David. And I made it my mission for kind of like you, Jared, to make myself useful, to learn the ropes, to promote them and grow with them and be respectful about it. And over time, I developed some really great relationships, and then one of them saved my life, right? But so I did the series Apocalypse Breaker with Sean Oswald, and I realized that there was this really cool trifecta of 2 giants in the industry who were my close friends. And I reached out to David multiple times and was like, hey, you want to try something? And here's the cool story. Right? So this was, I think, 1.5 or 2 years ago now. I was like, let's try to do a story. And we spitballed and we ideate really well together. But we both wrote the first chapter of this theoretical story to see how our styles would mesh.
Which is not the one we're talking about now, by the way.
They did not mesh at all. So we kind of took a step back for a little while. And then I did more collabs and I learned more about the process. And then I came back to him a couple of months ago. I was like, let's do it for real. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And so, yeah, so I talked him into it.
Well, I would imagine it's very hard convincing some of these. I mean, you're talking about David North and Sean Oswald here, the two of like the most prolific people that I know.
Sean blows me out of the water.
Well, Sean blows everybody out of the water, but I mean, I've had people who have said like, "Hey, I know you're writing a lot of books lately, but do you think you can help me plan this D&D campaign?" I would imagine it's along that lines. David, you're probably thinking, "Okay, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath." But I want to hear about this collab. Tell what is this? Can you tell us what's?
Yeah, go for it, Aaron. Yeah,
me.
I've talked enough. You talk. Yeah.
So the working name is going to be Forbidden Arcanum. It's a LitRPG progression epic.
I'm going to call
the subtitle is going to be Arcanum, and the subtitle is Revenge of the Towelheads.
No, it is not.
No.
So David and I, we both, I have come off of writing Apocalypse Breaker and several other novels that are very much girl, punch, punch, punch. And my favorite Heart series is Father of Constructs, which includes Found Family and an older guy. It's like if my fans come and talk to me, like half the time, it's a very small amount, but it's a half the time. It's like, I love when you write Heart. So I came to David and was like, I want to do a truly heroic series. And David came back. And normally when I try to collab with people, like it's a slow process. No. David came back with like 10 pages of notes that I had to parse through because he was so passionate about it. I think it's going to be very kind of D&D flavored, high fantasy, unique worlds. It's going to be centered on a brother and a sister and the team that the found family they come into. I don't want to give away too much because it might change still.
But the idea is that it's going to have a lot of magic and cool ancient stuff, and look for it maybe near the end of the year. So.
And where can people find that? Would that be
It'll be on Kindle? Yeah.
It'll be on Kindle direct.
Well, I don't know about Patreon yet because we're doing it together. We'll see if we stick it on to both Patreons. Yeah.
And
Somebody says
the inevitable question.
Oh, go ahead.
The inevitable question is, when will the audio drop? We've got our narrators. So
you do. Can you tell us or no? Can't tell us?
Not. I won't give it away yet, but we've planned this so far out so that we have a lot of landing room to really make the story as good as possible.
But yeah, look for it maybe October, November-ish, or at least for news. You could ask us by then. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about at LitRPG Con? Can we ask you about the narrators
ask
then?
Whatever you like.
Asking is free, I've heard.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Frosty Pine King says, I heard about the collab thing on Royal Road. Were you guys talking about it on Royal Road? Maybe Frosty Pine King, you want to elaborate a little bit more? And while that is happening in chat, David, you showed us something beautiful before we went live, and I want everyone to see it here.
Yeah, about a year ago, let's get this in the camera, I did a Kickstarter for trying to get this lined up correctly. It's not working. I'm terrible with this.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Right. So yeah, it's blue faux leather, tricolor foil, gold and silver, and all blue. And these were going to ship out to people. Actually, this books 1 and 2, so it's in a box set with its own slipcase.
Oh,
that's going to ship out here in February from the distributors, Merrick Books down in Texas, and then we'll probably do the next couple as well. There's the back. It looks pretty neat, and you got all this one's the blank one. I have to open up the other ones because they send you the dummy copies first to show you the way the cover looks.
IBW says the limited edition books. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's got the map in the front.
Those are gorgeous.
It's got the map. It's got character art and sheets in the back. It's Sam and his dad fighting in book 1.
Oh man.
And it's just got it. This is another blank one. I have like 3 copies of blank ones. People are like, "Can I get those as a notebook?"
Is it too late to get involved with the Kickstarter?
No. Well, the Kickstarter itself closed like a year ago, but there is a late backers tour on Pledgebox, which I think you can still submit things for. Also, these will be on back order for the next Kickstarter too, so you'll be able to get them. You'll just be able to like click it as an add-on if you want to do it. So,
well, maybe you can give me some links to put in the description of this
sure.
episode so people can click on them. Yeah. We have Frank says book 3 and 4 when ?
For the Kickstarter, with the idea is that probably you'll see the landing page in February sometime, and then we'll go live when it's ready because I have to get a bit more art for the new covers and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, guys, it is 8:30, and I'm trying my best to keep to that 30-minute time frame. Before we leave, though, could you tell us what you have coming out and where people can find you? Aaron, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm working on Apocalypse Breaker 4 with Sean Oswald right now. It's due out in April. I will be doing 5 shortly after that, and then you'll be hearing about the collab I have with David North. So that's my sequence of events for the next year.
Very good. And are you coming to LitRPG Con?
Oh yeah, I'm coming to Jordan Con and LitRPG Con.
Awesome. And when is Jordan Con again? I'm seeing it posted everywhere now.
I think it's a couple months. I have to pull my calendar up. Like I think it's in April. I feel bad not knowing exactly the dates. I'm just going to be there. So just it's there.
Whenever it is, he'll be there.
It's whatever. I'm going to be there. I'll be at a table.
Temporal anomaly. It wanders through the months.
David, are you?
It'll be Atlanta, Georgia, guys. For those who didn't know, so we have Atlanta and then we have Colorado.
I'll be at LitRPG Con, but that's the only one I'm planning this year because we have a 2-month-old now, and I don't want to travel too much.
Oh, yeah. Has that impacted your writing at all?
I mean, yeah, but still going at it. It's our second child, so it's a little more familiar. When I was writing first Aster Fall, my daughter was born while I was writing book 2, so it kind of did that too.
This is a really special time there, David. I remember that you get a lot of time with your first, because your wife probably spends a lot of time with the newborn, right? So, so that's congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah. All right. So tell us, what do you have coming out, David?
Working on Wild Era. There'll be a few more books in that series, probably 2, maybe 3 this year. Depends. Yeah. Book 4 comes out on ebook in May. Maybe earlier if I finish it earlier, but I gave myself extra time because of the kiddo, so we'll see what happens. Yeah.
And how are your fans dealing with that, giving yourself extra time?
They tell me on Patreon that they want me to write faster. That's mostly what they say.
Patience, everyone. Patience. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it's great to chat with you again. I've gotten to know Aaron a little bit online, and it was great to see you. Kind of, this is not in person, but as close to person as I do these days. So. All right. Well, we'll see you soon, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks to you. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.